Welcome to Future Role Model, a podcast that praises the unconventional and totally redefines what it means to be a role model. And today in the house, I got Jessica Keenan. What?
Yay.
It's good to have you here because...
It's good to be here. This is so cool.
We've only kind of hung out in passing a few times.
I know, which is crazy because I know I've seen like a billion flyers with you.
I know.
And I'm like, oh yeah, Natasha.
Well, this is why I started that whole monthly Women in Comedy hang, because I was like, there's always just one of us on each show.
Flyer. I know. And it's so crazy.
So we don't get to spend time with each other.
Never.
Like tonight, I've been trying to hang out with Crystal Marie forever. And tonight we're on a show together. And I was like, thank God.
And I haven't even met her in person, but she's like so sweet.
Yeah, she's
like,
the best.
Yeah. And she sent me like all this like info for something. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I haven't even met her.
I'm this is what we all know each other from a hand's distance away or arm's distance away.
Because there can only be one female comic. Because like too many.
Yeah,
it's
right. And we're all hot, by the way. Every single one of us is hot.
That's so funny.
That's our credit. It's always part of our credit.
This next comic, she's really hot. This is going to really help her really love the audience. The audience is going to love her when you come up here.
Oh, that's...
I fucking hate that so bad.
God.
I struggled with that so much when I first started that like I would start to be like, no, I'm not. And then it was like, what?
Yeah. Well, and that's why like I've had so many guy friends ask, oh, why did, when I was earlier on in my comedy career, they were like, you always dress like a tomboy. I was like, well, A, I kind of am a tomboy. B, I can't really not because you have to
every female now, I feel like we all have similar. I mean, I'm always in like plaid. And like I open up my closet and I'm like, what color plaid am I gonna wear tonight?
Yeah,
like,
right.
I wear the same thing because I'm like, this is just the uniform.
Yeah,
Anything else is just distracting or something. It's just too much.
It's challenging when you have to travel and you're doing both comedy and not comedy. Because like next weekend, I go to Kansas City and I'm going there because I'm partnering with this new company to sponsor my travel and tours for next year.
You do everything, yes.
So I'm going to their big launch weekend. So it's all like classy and nice.
Yeah. So you can't wear plaid.
But Chris Porter's headlining in town. So I'm gonna do a guest spot on his Friday night show at the Improv in Kansas City. And so I'm like, shit, I can't even bring a carry-on now because I got to pack like a comedy outfit. Yeah.
My comedy clothes.
I gotta get my comedy shit in my bag.
My funny clothes. I know, it's so true because like, or after like I'll want to hang out with my friends and I'm just like, I'm still a boy. Like I'm like, I want to look cute.
I've done that when I we'll get to this because I know you're from Vegas, but I played in Vegas for like a week and I went and bought a specific bag that had a pocket that you could fit shoes in so I could swap my shoes out after my because you're not going to fucking trek like half the strip to go change your shoes so you look like a normal human.
Right.
And I'm fine with wearing Chucks to a club, but I'm pretty sure in Vegas they just don't even let you in.
No.
Any bar.
Never. I wouldn't even
You
think
can't even go into like a peanut shells on the floor bar.
Yeah. I would only wear when I moved here I was still in heels just straight from it. I'm like everyone looked at me like I was like insane and then I was like, what? And I was like, oh, okay. Because California, like everyone's just like flip-flops and like they're so much more laid back and I didn't get it.
That's a misconception, I think, because I'm from the Midwest and a lot of people are like, oh, isn't everybody so bougie in LA? I'm like, no. Like the bougie city is Vegas, really. Like where everybody's...
tacky. Is more the right word.
Like Jersey
I was
Vegas,
so tacky.
Right?
I mean, I was just... It was very scary.
I want to see pictures of tacky Jessica.
Oh, God. There's too many. I don't have anything but, actually. It's just all of my years.
What was your tackiest moment?
Oh, there's just so many. I mean, literally I would wear bedazzled bras.
Stop.
Yeah, I would get them in like every color.
Oh
Still have them. They're in my Halloween pile. Actually, my bachelorette party is coming up and the girls are like, let's wear one for like the last hurrah. And so I had to like break them all out. They're just like all different colors. I'd be like, what color bra? And then just like a bra and like, I don't know, like a skirt or something. And I would just go out in that. Like I thought I was Selena.
That's incredible.
Something. I was like, bitty, but no. It was so embarrassing.
Yeah, it was fascinating. Like the first time I ever went to Vegas was the first time I ever thought, oh, this is why planes go down. Because I remember walking in and being like, this is the ride that's going to crash because everybody in here is horrible.
Yes.
There were so many tiaras.
When you grow up there, you have no idea. Like I didn't know I just thought I was like, I'm like, yeah, no, for sure. Like like my eye, even now, like I had to train my eye not to go to sparkle. Like when I walk in places to shop, I'm like, no, you're not that girl anymore. Like I just,
that's amazing.
It's just, that's where, where you're from is it's the norm.
Oh,
it's
exactly.
Like and then you get out of there and you're like, oh, so not everybody wears bedazzled bras? Like just on a reg?
See, and that's what, like, we used to think I don't even know what we thought good fashion was, honestly. I got voted most fashionable in my high school in Wisconsin.
Oh my gosh,
I'm like, what does that even mean in Wisconsin?
What did you wear?
They took a picture of me. I just would wear,
I want to see that picture.
I would wear what I want. Kind of like today. Right now I'm in like this pajama onesie.
Yeah, but you can wear anything. You're just like, this is what I always wanted to be. Just like a really like ripped white girl. Like that was like my dream growing up. Like I could layer. I always have wanted to layer.
Oh,
and you're just so cute. You can just wear anything.
Well, I appreciate that. But I did wear, like, I used to come to school in kind of almost borderline costumes just because I felt like being a cowgirl one day or like a whatever. But that's
kind of Vegas.
I just never cared. I just didn't care. I just did what I wanted.
Yeah.
And that was groundbreaking for Wisconsin.
They're like, whoa.
Oh my gosh, what a trendsetter. And then in the high school yearbook, and my picture was in a peasant shirt and they were like, she's bringing in peasant shirt. They had been around already for like 15 years.
Oh, I love that.
Peasant,
like the big
ones with
the big sleeves or whatever.
So you grew up in Vegas.
Yes, I did.
So right outside of Vegas or in like the heart of?
No, outside of Vegas. So there's like an area called Green Valley. It's like Henderson area. Alex knows.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Alex Kahn is also from Vegas.
Yeah. I mean, that's so rare to meet someone else from like that was born there too.
Yeah. What was it like growing up there as a younger kid? We'll get to your tacky life later.
Yeah. My mom's strict Mexican lady. So I wasn't exposed too much. Like she was just very like, you have to stay inside. Like she's a single mom. So she didn't really like let me experience, which is good probably. But then when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, like this is what I'm living in.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Well, yeah. Cause when you grow up so close to a place like that, like even if you're from Jersey, like Jacqueline's from Jersey, but the first time you go into the big, cause I grew up outside of Madison. I remember the first time I went to Madison, Wisconsin was like, whoa, this is what a city looks like.
Like I had been to the Strip, obviously, like, but I would go with my family, like to buffets. Like we were like eating.
Yeah.
So I didn't know like that, like club life.
The shininess of it all.
Right.
So did you grow up, were you like religious at all growing up?
Yeah, Catholic.
I figured, okay. Because I was like, if you got Latin and
my mom quotes the Bible on a daily.
Oh my gosh.
And she misquotes it, which is even
that's
better.
my favorite.
Yeah.
They just put however they want it.
What? Like I feel like she just opens the Bible and like finds 4 words and then like switches pages and then finds 4 other words and like nothing goes together, but they're all like biblical.
She's just like, you can't throw stones unless you're doing
heavenly. Yeah. Spirit. I'm like, what?
I love that because I have a lot of. I grew up religious, but like Christian.
Okay,
same thing.
Yeah. So similar.
I think moms just do that. They just pick and choose what they think will fit their argument.
Yeah, but makes no sense. So then you can't say anything.
Exactly.
Because you're just the devil. Did you guess I can't argue that.
Yeah. And everything that they don't agree with, they're like, well, you're sinning. So
like,
you're like,
am
okay. So are you always, because we're human. So like, why even try? So did you have siblings as well?
Yes, I have. I'm the youngest of 3. So it's my sister, Monique, and then my brother, David, and then me.
Okay. Yeah. So was your mom kind of your first role model?
Oh,
no. It's okay because parents don't need to be role models. No. Mine definitely were not.
No, I think I just looked at, I wanted to do the opposite of what she did. Totally. She was always so stressed out and just like, she just wanted to like make, she's trying to raise 3 kids on her own. So I was just like, whoa, I don't want that life.
No.
Like I don't want to be struggling like that. And so I think I just looked at that like, don't do that. Just try to take a different path.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So coming into high school, what was kind of your trajectory and into growing up outside of that space? And when did you start experiencing like the Strip and kind of going out for the first time?
I think like growing up, I was most comics are, but I don't think you were like a really big dork. I was really fat, and then I had some teeth problems that were just the worst. Like I had my 2 front teeth got knocked out when I was like a kid, and then like forever I had one big tooth I was very, very scared.
One big tooth?
Yes, the dentist like put them back in my mouth, and then he just like bonded the shit out of them. And then every other dentist was like, we don't want to touch them because we don't want them to fall out. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I just walked around with like one giant tooth for way too many years, which is why I do what I do.
That's the most horrifying.
It's horrific. I didn't smile for like forever. I was just always like, you know, that creepy, like I'm going to kill you smile.
So define your dorkiness, because I want to hear the level of.
I feel like I really was creepy. I feel like I just watched. I watched a lot of people. I looked at people a lot. Like I was an observer.
And you didn't smile.
And I didn't smile, so I really looked like I was a murderer. And I wasn't allowed to really do anything after school. Like I didn't realize like kids like went play. Like I didn't know you could like go over kids' homes and like hang out, because my mom like that wasn't a thing that we could do. Wow. I could never do sleepovers or things. I'd be like, please, can I go to the sleepover? My mom was like, they can come here. I'm like, it's not my birthday. It's Mandy's birthday. Like, I can't invite the party to my house. So I wasn't able to do anything. So I would just like watch people.
Oh my gosh. Have you started watching the show You on Netflix yet?
Yes. It's a really bad show, but I watch it.
You think it's bad?
I don't like it, and I don't know why I watch it.
I'm 3 or 4 episodes in, and I don't know why I'm choosing to spend my time on this show in particular, because I don't have a lot of spare time, and I can only get into one show at a time.
And you chose You.
And I chose this one, and now I feel like everything that I do that feels remotely creepy, I'm like, oh my God,
that guy's super. I mean, I don't know. It's a show that like it's like one of those shows you start and you're like, and then you're just like, I just want to see what happens.
Well, I don't know how you can stalk somebody for numbers of seasons.
Yeah,
this will be interesting. That's, I think, where I'm intrigued. I'm like, I want to see
what's going to happen.
How stalkery this can get.
Yeah, is there someone else that's going to be a stalker? That's what I thought. Like they're going to switch stalkers or something. Such a bad show. I watch so much crap though.
So I'm picturing you as this kid who's just like that, just like watching everybody.
Yeah, that is me. I was just such an observer. I would just stare at people and I just was like, oh, she's really cool. Oh, he's like, that's just all I did.
I feel like that must have been you trying to just decide what you would become when your teeth were normal.
Or just, I don't even think I had those hopes. I just think, I just was like that, man, I wish, like, I think my whole life has just been like, I want to be cool. So I would just like watch cool people and observe them. And I'm like, oh, that's neat.
At what point did this like rigid dorkiness phase kind of start to end?
Probably like almost my senior year of high school.
Damn, it took that long?
Yeah, it took a long time to get it together. Yeah. Finally about senior year, I think people were like, oh, what's your name? I'm like, oh, I went to school with you forever.
That happened to a lot of girls, though, where they would just blossom like the summer after junior year and come back and they'd just have like giant tits in their hair.
But it was like when it doesn't matter. Yeah. It's like all over. Like everybody had like their groups.
Yeah.
I'm like, I went to school with all of you.
Oh, that's so fun. And schools there were probably big too, huh?
I think it was pretty big. I think so.
Graduating
I don't even know
class,
how many.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of how many.
God, I want to say ours was like 300 or something.
300?
Uh-huh.
No, I think we had
thousands.
Definitely more.
Yeah. Big cities like
right. Yeah.
Well, my town had like 14,000 people in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I always try to gauge.
Yeah. No, we definitely had more than that.
Yeah. Which that's where the big, like, we didn't have an opportunity for anybody to really get too cliquey in Stoughton, Wisconsin, because there were like groups, but everybody
kind of just were a clique.
Kind of just mingled together. Yeah. It's like, we're all from here.
The amount of people, you're just like, we're together.
Yeah. Like if somebody from band showed up at one of the parties, we weren't like, what the fuck is that guy doing here?
There's not enough of you to branch off. Then there'd be like one band, one cool person, which is you.
It was just like, whatever.
Really that's nice though.
Everybody just mingled around. It was cool. And most people married each other. It's like pretty funny how many people from our class ended up getting married.
Marrying each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like most small towns though. It's just like, and how did you get away from that?
I just ran.
Did you know that you were like, no? Or were you?
Yeah, I always knew I wanted to explore.
I thought you were saying I want a dick. And I was like, oh, okay.
I wanted different dicks than ones that my friends had touched.
Right. Which was all of them.
But I didn't know to what extent that would be, but I just knew I wasn't going to stay. But I mean.
So you knew you didn't want to be like a small town girl. Like you knew that.
Well, 100%.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, 100%. I knew that. And I always wonder that about people that grew up in large cities, like if they like dreamed of being a small town, you know, because
I always thought it would be cool to live in a small town. And I did for a year. I actually had moved to upstate New York.
That's fucking random.
So random. It was because I was a nanny for this family who they were moving there and they were like, we want you to come with us. And they gave me like $10,000 like as my boning size.
Boning size?
Yes. My boning. I can't even say it. That's how much money it was. Size. I'm still, by the way, $10,000 is very exciting still to me.
Yeah.
So the fact that I'm like, it was back then. No, like now if someone still gave me $10,000, I'd be like, where am I moving?
Yeah. That's like an amazing.
Yeah. And I was just like, I'm moving to, and I'm so dumb that I just saw New York. No idea that it was upstate. I was like, New York it is. And then I got there and I was like, oh my God. It was the smallest town. It was way.
How old were you when this happened?
I was about, I think 18.
Okay. So this was like fresh out of high school.
Yeah. I think maybe I was 19. Yeah. Somewhere around there.
Because I used to babysit a lot, and I gotta question you about this nannying experience because I only have one other friend, my friend Maggie, who used to live here, but used to babysit a lot, or nanny. Yeah. Nannying is basically babysitting, but when you're an adult, so you can't call it babysitting anymore, right?
You just get too old to say babysitting.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. I'm like, that's the only reason.
It's like it's like being called Billy and then somewhere you transition to Bob.
Yes, exactly.
You know, or William or whatever.
I'm like, now I'm a nanny because I'm too old. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
And like my mom was a preschool teacher for a while, so I used to get all the babysitting jobs really easily. Starting when I was like 11, which who the fuck lets 11-year-olds watch kids?
I did, yeah.
I know. Like that too. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
But I had this one, I keep thinking back on these. I had this one couple of kids. It was a brother and sister. Apparently they're doing really, really well now, which I would have never
They're doing
guessed.
better than you know.
But they would chase each other, like violent fights, chase each other around, and she would pull like knives on her brother.
Oh my God.
And I'd have to like, and I wonder why I still have fears of knives. It's because
these children,
I had to sneak up behind children when I was just a child and get the knives out of their hands.
Terrifying.
And then I had these other two brothers. This was the weirdest one. It was like a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. The 5-year-old was like depressed, like he was the personification of Eeyore.
Yeah,
like just sad.
Okay. Yeah,
I guess I'll just... And I'm like, you're fucking 5. Like, why are you so sad?
Yeah.
And he like would go to bed early, like a grandpa. And the other one, I couldn't get to go to bed. He would strip down naked and run around the house.
Oh my God.
So I would have to chase this like naked child around the house to try to get him to go to bed. And these two things were so awkward for me on two polarizing opposite ends of the spectrum, like having to chase a kid with knives and having to chase a kid that was like a naked boy. That
you're like with knives.
I finally just quit all of the babysitting, and I was like, I don't want to fucking touch a kid for a long time.
Oh my God. Yeah, you had some.
And then my friend started nannying, and she was telling me about some experiences she had with like the snooty people in Beverly Hills.
Right.
And I was just like, ugh.
I mean, I've been pretty lucky. Like I was nannying for, forever up until like a couple years ago. And I've been pretty lucky though. I've had really, really good families. Really, what's good is like if you go through like agencies, like you can do little like working, what do you call it? Like working interviews where you like go and actually like get to like, because I've gone on those where like the kids, I'm like, nope, not going to watch your kid.
Oh, that's good.
So like I kind of feel it out first.
More
but
of
like,
a filtration
because I want to make sure like I was with families that like discipline their kids.
Of course.
Because if they don't, then I don't have a chance.
Yeah.
But I've been like the people that I've chose and they've chose me. Like I'm like, I've been pretty lucky. And I've gotten to travel so many places because of it. Like I've worked for such wealthy, nice families that I'm like, cool. I'm like, I feel like I'm their kid too. I'm like, where are we going next?
Amazing.
Like, please adopt me.
I know. I've always thought of that because like not you get to do that if you're a nanny. You get to do it if you're a private chef.
Mm-hmm.
Or some of these flight attendant schools, you can like do it on private. I've thought if I were going to do anything but comedy, what would I do? And it would probably be something that would allow me to travel. Like,
yeah.
time.
Yeah, which is so nice.
So did you have any time to like become a true teenager in that like 1 year before you left to go nanny while you were coming into your own?
Yeah, no, I did. I mean, I feel like that's when I started to kind of like go out with my friends and I had a little more leeway. And so I started to like kind of branch out. But yeah, I mean, to me, that was like the most exciting thing I could ever do was just to like go to New York, not knowing that it wasn't exciting at all.
It's pretty ballsy for 18. I mean,
I just wanted to like do something, get out of my house, get out of the strict home and just like branch out a little bit.
And how long were you upstate for?
1 year. Literally my contract was like 1 year.
And like what was your specific experience to that region?
I mean, it's just, these small towns, like I said, I thought I wanted to move there. And then once I kind of like experienced it and when I moved away, I realized like I heard so many of like these families were like kind of swinging. And I was like, what? That like blew my mind.
Oh my God.
Is that like a thing?
I didn't know it was a thing in upstate New York, but I know it's a thing.
It's a small town thing. There's nothing to do. You literally have nothing to do except each other, I guess. Like I was so blown away by that.
Yeah. And there are stories in my town with close friends of mine that have experienced stuff like that.
Yeah. I guess I'm like, you guys are so bored.
Well,
like,
people, I think, get married young and they have all these kids. Not, it's not like they have all these kids, but they just have fucking a kid, know? And then they have to like stick around or they try to, which I've never understood. Like if things aren't making you happy in your relationship, why stick around for the kid?
Because
like
people are just scared.
The kid.
It's not the kid. It's that they're scared.
I know. Exactly.
Of the unknown. But yeah, the weather there is like insane. Like I had never, obviously coming from Vegas to New York, upstate New York, like I didn't even know what snow was. Yeah. I got there in like a BB fur jacket with like, super tacky.
A cutesy.
Yeah, I literally had boots with the fur. I had, and they had like wedges.
You were that girl.
And I like got out and the dad was like, what are you doing? I'm like, what? He's like, you're going to fall. Like you can't walk in those. Like when I left, I was wearing like boots, like a ski mask. Like I was just like straight up. Like I was like, no, I learned how to.
If you're going to be warm, you have to look like you're about to rob a place.
Yes.
Like it's
I didn't give a I was like, I just want to be at a normal temperature.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It was crazy.
So what did you do after New York?
So after I went back to Vegas,
of course,
for a few years, and then I moved. Yeah, and then I moved to LA when I was 25 to start comedy.
Okay, so in that time, so when you got back to Vegas, you were about 19. So you were there for quite a while.
Yeah, and then I just started going out, and I was like, "This is the Strip.
Yep,
this is bedazzled."
So we got to get into that because I can't even imagine when I was 19 and just going to school up in Minneapolis, right? And the kind of shit we got into. Like,
I mean, I was a nanny, and then I was going to the College of Southern Nevada, and I was going out every night, and I was also somehow going out in the daytime. Like, I'm like, when I look at like what I did, I'm like, how did I do all of those things? Because like we would go to like those pool like the disgusting pool parties.
Yeah. Yep,
that was like our thing. Like we couldn't wait to go. So gross.
But sometimes they're still fun. Like I was just in Vegas for 2 days after playing. And,
but I mean like a day to day, like every single day. Like it was like a job that we would like force ourselves. Like sometimes we were like, we don't want to go out. And then we were like, we should go out. I'm like, why? Like when I look back, I'm like, why did we do that?
People convince themselves like it's networking or something.
I mean, even though no one talks at clubs or anything.
That's I'm pretty certain that the club pools in Vegas are where HPV began.
For sure.
And then they just gave it to everybody else.
And when you're drunk, you don't see any of that. I think one time I went sober. I don't even know why, which is weird. And I remember I would like looked at the pool and I was like, I'm going to throw up.
Yeah, like, there's just chunks of things.
But like when you're drunk, you don't see it. You're just like, wee.
Oh my God. When because I had my bachelorette party in Las Vegas in 2017. Okay. So in September of 2017, that's how long it's been since my bachelorette party. Pretty preemptive.
Now you have to have another one.
Yeah. Who knows what the fuck. So anyway, we all my friends live all over the country. And so we were like, let's do Vegas. But we're like, we're adults. Let's go to Vegas the right way. So we did, like, we spent money on certain things, that women usually get for free. But when you pay for them, they're better.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
Sorry, but when you get free shit, it's tacky.
Yeah.
Generally. Or you have to dress tacky. Like we're not like club dress kind of girls. We were like jeans and whatever. Like we want to be normal.
Yeah.
So, but we did go to a day pool party and like bought like one of those day bed things. And at one point I did the dirty dancing dive into this like stranger's hands, which is always a dumb choice. Like you can't trust drunk strangers. But
also he was like wet. And
he was
like,
so tall. It just seemed like it made sense. And he was in the water. So I just dived off.
Oh my God.
And of course he didn't catch me and I fell, but I was in the water. So it wasn't too hard of a fall, but it was shallow. So my knee went and hit the bottom. And it split.
Oh my God.
So I get out and I was bleeding and I didn't really even feel it because we were hammered.
Yeah, you're so drunk.
We're hammered. And I'm up ordering from the bar and the bartender was like, holy shit. And I looked down and because you're wet and I'd been drinking, my bottom half of my leg was just
looked like it's like needs to be amputated.
It looked like murder.
No.
And so what they have to do is they have to pull you in the back away.
And how long was that bleeding in that pool?
Well, so this is what happened. And so it, like anytime that there's like a jolt in the, like kind of as a sobering moment. So like they were like, we have to take you in the back to security. And they have these rooms. Who knows what these poor rooms have seen, but it's like a room where all the security guards have to come in and like somebody has to come in with the Band-Aid kit and there's like cameras basically everywhere. Yeah. And they were like asking if I was okay. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, sorry, it's my bachelorette party. It doesn't hurt, I promise. And we cleaned it up. And when we cleaned it up,
once you clean it, it's like a little baby.
It was a little thing. Yeah. And they put the Band-Aid on and they're like, well, while we have you in this room under security cameras, we want to let you know that if you get back in the water with an open wound, it's at your own risk. And I was like, do explain. And they were like, well,
there's things in the water.
They were like, we can't exactly tell you, but trust us.
They're like, don't get in the water.
Don't do that. And I was like, so what makes you want to get people in here with their skin closed? Like your skin's the biggest organ. Like
it's so gross.
And so
that was where I was all the time.
That was super eye-opening because I was like, well, if they have to put this many cameras on me to get me to agree that I understand that it's at my own risk if I get something in my... So, needless to say, wash your body when you get out of that
Moral
shit. Moral of the story, like sanitize the shit out of yourself.
Go to pool parties in Vegas.
So you were there all the time.
All the time. That was my life. It was really gross. It was literally like, oh, Monday's this, Tuesday's pure, Wednesday's like, oh, we know the door guy. Like that's who I was.
Oh.
Because I told you I just wanted to be cool, and I was finally in an environment where I was like, obviously you're not cool, but I felt cool.
You felt cool,
yeah,
because you were in.
Because I would like go in, and like I never had that in school, so I was like, oh, this is what it's like.
Did you guys just drink, or did you like party?
Just drink.
Okay, so
I never did any. No, and my best friend Chanel and I always laugh because like. That's all we did was drink, and like we met these girls in like a bathroom and they're like, do you guys like to party? We were like, yeah. We were so dumb. And they're like, okay, what do you guys have? And we were like, that like what?
Like our
dance moves? Like what does this mean? But we always laugh because we're like dorks, but like we're just not we're not with it.
What do you have, dance moves?
I don't know.
I know, because I was so naive to that stuff too. I was never exposed to any sort of like hard drugs until I was
I've never even smoked weed.
19. Oh really?
Never.
Oh my God.
And our wedding's on 4/20 and everyone's like, oh, a big pop. I'm like, no.
This is not that day.
Easter weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's funny that you're getting married that weekend.
Because you're getting married in June? Did you tell me? July?
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. But
I'm like, your ring's on. Did I bring
No. We're things are fine.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, wait.
So essentially that was 6 years that you were in Vegas, like nannying and doing this party scene.
Yeah.
That's hefty.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's way too long.
So where was the turning point that you decided I should move to Los Angeles?
I mean, my whole family's from like Claremont, Pomona area. So like California wasn't like this, like, you know, no one's heard. Like I had been here so many times. And it's
not that far from Vegas.
Right. So it wasn't like a big move. But yeah, I think I had always wanted to move to California, always. Like anytime we'd come out here, it's just so beautiful. The weather's so nice. My whole family's here. And then I had always wanted to try stand-up comedy. And so I had like looked all these things up and I was like, I'm going to take a class and just like see if I like it. And then as soon as I took it, I was like, oh, okay. So this is what I should have been doing forever. Yeah. Like I was hooked instantly.
Yep. And that was around the same time that I also found the stand-up bug.
Oh, yeah?
When I was about 25.
Yeah. Yeah.
26 maybe.
And it's like, I wish I would have known about it or like done it earlier. Same. But at the same time, I'm like, what was I going to talk about? You were trash. Like what if like I have nothing to say except for like vodka soda.
And that's what I think is funny. You know, I always respect comics that are just funny off the gate, but there are some comics that get like pulled, you know, when they're like really young. And, you know, I think it's not very I can't say that. I shouldn't say that some people's stuff isn't very interesting because that's not true. There's some really young comics that have like come from very interesting backgrounds and they do have stuff. But when you come from like a place like Vegas or a small town, like you don't have anything besides like the same joke that you've been hearing your whole life.
Yeah, your perspective isn't that broad. And so it's just, so it's like, what are you going to talk about?
Yeah.
Clubs.
Yeah, exactly.
Have at it, you know?
And that's why it's like, that's why I always say to people, you know, when we have these conversations with other girlfriends of ours or guy friends, whatever, you know, people are always like, I wish I was this place in my comedy career. I'm like, dude, it doesn't even.
No, it just happens when it happens. That's why anybody like, I'm always like, just start.
Your shit's going to be funny at the right time to the right person eventually.
Exactly. You just have to start.
Yeah. Did you have anything that you watched or like something that got this in your mind?
My brother was a big, he's the one that kind of introduced me more to stand up. And he would just like, you know, like download them illegally, like all the Comedy Central or whatever.
Yeah.
And we would just watch them and laugh. Like we were always into anything fun. Like we grew up on like The Simpsons. Like that's where pretty much that was our parents and everything. Like that was like how that was my role model. I guess that would be my role model. Had I, I should have thought about it. Yeah, definitely The Simpsons is like, that's what we lived on. Like, and we didn't have cable. So literally it was just The Simpsons.
Oh my God.
It's on Fox.
That's a good one to choose. I mean, it's been on the air for like 85 years.
It's so good. The humor, I mean, I just love it. But yeah, and we would watch so many different stand-ups. You know, we'd watch like, what did he like? We'd watch from like Dane Cook to like Pablo Francisco to like, we had just so many different people on there. Maria Bamford.
Yeah.
So he like it was kind of like a plethora of different, you know, comics and we, different styles. And like, it's not like I looked at them like, I can do that. I just loved it so much. And when I was in high school, I took a class called Forensics. And it's like a speech and debate.
I did that
class.
Too.
You did? Okay. So, and that like I got the bug kind of from there where like I did this like duo. It was like a humorous interp thing with my friend Amanda. And we would go up and like we would travel to like different schools and stuff and compete. And we would win so many. And I'm like, it was always like something funny.
Yeah.
And so like I loved it so much. And I think my teacher had told me, like, my teacher, Mr. Ginger, he was like, you should do your own, like and it was like called an HI. He's like, you do your own, like by yourself, like try it out. And when I did it by myself, I ran out of the room.
No way.
I did. And I was like so disappointed in myself. Like, and I was like, how, like, I don't know. It always stuck with me because I'm not like a quitter and I'm very competitive. And so it was always like something that like bothered me. So when I decided to move out here, I'm like, I can do this by myself because it's obviously stand-ups by yourself. So I was like, I can do it. And then once I did it, I was like, oh my God. I wish I would have had the balls back then to just kind of start that. But
So so it was when you first moved to LA that you started doing a stand-up class, right?
Yeah. Jerry Katzman, who's like, I think the best.
Ask you which class.
I think he's the best. I've taken a few, but I think he is like by far the best.
One of the first classes I took was with David Arnold, and it was at Comedy Union.
Okay.
He's amazing. He's an amazing but it was like, we got to do our like graduating thing. Because I was already doing stand-up, but one of my friends wanted to take a class, and he offered to pay for us both to take it. He was serving at a place in West Hollywood and made like $400 a night. And he's like, I'll cover us both. And I was like,
oh my gosh.
I was like, cool. I could use some.
What kind of LA friend is that? I've never heard of that kind of friend.
Well, he's not alive anymore.
Oh no.
I know.
Oh my gosh. That took a really dark.
I know it did. I'm so
like,
sorry.
what kind of friend is that? He's dead.
It was like 5 years ago. So I've made my peace with it. But he was such a good friend. Yeah. Anyway, rest in peace, David. But he paid for my class, and we learned how to like hone some stuff because I was only like a year in when I moved to LA.
Yeah. So you started before taking
Chicago.
A class.
Yeah, I started before taking a class.
That to me is like, I'm always like amazed that you continued.
But the difference is I came from Second City starting when I was 20.
Oh, okay. So you had a little bit of like
I'd been doing like improv and sketch for 5 years.
Yeah, yeah.
But I hadn't been up there solo. But the cushion was that there was a lot of these classes, like shows. Sorry, not classes. There was shows like Ass Cat and stuff. I don't know if anyone's ever been to or seen Ass Cat at like UCB. I think it's at UCB. Basically, what they are is they're improvised monologues off of a topic from the audience, and the rest of
gives me anxiety just talking about it.
The rest of the group like hangs back and then improvises off of the monologues. So like one of the first shows that I was cast in at Second City after graduating conservatory was that style. And there was only 3 of us. It was a 3-person show.
Oh, wow.
So we each took turns rotating up to the front, getting an audience suggestion.
And then you just had to
had to improvise a monologue off of it. Something funny, an anecdote, a thought. And then the 3 of us would have to hang back and do.
No, thank you.
So it was after that,
that gives you a lot of tools. Yeah, for sure.
Well, and it gives you the ability to realize, I guess I have a bunch of looming stories.
Right. Yeah. It gives you some stuff that you can work off of for stand up.
Yeah. Because you can kind of turn anything into any word will kind of spark something in your memory and you'll be like, oh, this, even if it's not really related.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, I mean, that was a good intro. But Katzman, I've heard a lot of people doing his classes and saying they were really great.
He's just a really great writer and he teaches you just like I did. And that was another thing. I was so dumb. I had no idea that stand up was like writing. Like I just thought that these comics were funny, which is what honestly most people think that have never.
I think so.
So many. Everyone's like, oh, they're just funny. Like, no. And I had no idea. So once I learned, like, there's like, I'm like, that blew my mind alone, which like step 1, you idiot. And like, once I learned that, I was like, oh my God, I could totally do this. Yeah. I loved writing. I always loved that. That was like always my thing. So
yeah. And do you still write? Do you write like series and stuff?
You know, I haven't yet, but I love like jokes. Like now that I know how to, I can do them like.
Oh,
I'm so good at it.
What was the show we just did the other day? West Side? Or wasn't the other day. It was like a couple weeks ago. But
West Side.
You killed me with that new stuff that you have about the snoring. Wasn't it about snore? Oh my God.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're definitely an amazing joke writer.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I love it. I mean, I just like fell in love.
Was it weird starting on this scene? I guess that's kind of a hard question to ask because you don't have anything to compare it to, but
I mean, I don't think so. I think you get thrown into things that you shouldn't be in way too quickly sometimes.
Sure.
Which I was. But I think it just makes you better, you know? I mean, you eat shit at those things for sure.
Yeah.
And you want to die. But you're like, okay. Well, it just shows you what's out there. I mean, you see these comics, the best of the best. And sometimes you're on those lineups for no reason. You know, you have no place being there, but you're like, okay, I just have to you have to rise to the occasion somehow.
Exactly.
And most of the time you don't, but.
Well, it honestly is about because people always want to ask you if you're a comic, like, oh, what's the worst time you bummed? And I have
too many for me.
I have 2 specific ones that made me want to quit. Like where I was just like,
yeah.
I remember these so vividly. I still have like nightmares about them.
Oh, yeah.
So do you have one of those?
I have so many.
Oh, my God. Name a couple because it's fun to tell people that.
Yeah. I have so many. I mean, I think one of my worst ones was when, again, I shouldn't have been here. It was like a taping for, they were doing that Nouveau TV.
Oh, totally.
And
was it the stand-up in stilettos or something?
It was like, I don't know if it was called. No, it was like
they did a
stand up and deliver or something. Yeah, that's what it was. And I shouldn't have been there. I'd only been doing it like a couple years, but like I thought I was like, okay, cool. And I'm around all these like awesome comics. And I just kept telling myself, you should be here. You're here. And I shouldn't have, but you have to like say certain things to yourself.
Up,
And the taping of that, most tapings I've done have not gone well, but the taping of that one in particular, like I was like, what just happened? I was like one of the last comics to go. I wasn't seasoned enough to like understand it's okay if there's not an audience there. You just keep it going. I wasn't like at that place. I was just at a place where I was like, I need people to laugh.
Yeah.
And that's not where you should be, especially for this taping where it's like they're taping you. Just give your best, And I just got shook immediately. Like I think I told my first joke and I was shook because I don't know what I was expecting. There's like no one there, but I couldn't handle it. And I just started to just crumble and I went rogue. And when I go rogue and I go off script, it is not cute and like some comics are really witty and playful and they have that. Jessica does not have that. Like I am just like, go back to your script. I had just previously before I went up, I had watched I had read this thing that said, I don't know, it was like in some comedy book that said, it was something like, if something happens in the room, call it out. Right.
Yeah.
And so like that had stuck with me. And so when I was up there, I was doing this joke and my earring came out of my ear. And I was like, oh, something in the room that happens, call it out. Well, my dumbass, like no one else knew that I'm like holding my earring, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like talking about it. This is for TV. And I have to do, and I'm like, oh, my earring. Like, I don't even know what I said. I blacked out. But I was like talking about my earring. I don't know what happened, Natasha, but some girl, like, I don't know what she did. And I was like, oh, whatever. And I threw my earring. I threw my earring at this, like, next to, like, this girl. Like, it hit the couch. Like, what am I doing? I still don't know what I was doing. I threw my earring at an audience member. And then I was like, oh, it's not a big deal. I don't know what I was like all over the place.
Now I want to see this.
I've never seen it and I never, ever want to see it.
I still want to have a night where like all of us girls
I'm like sweating talking about that right now, like down my back. I
want to have a night where all of us girls go to somebody's house, like an old school sleepover style, but watch each other's like old footage or worse footage.
Oh God.
And just have like a guttural laugh. Cause it like it's at the expense of ourselves and each other.
Yeah.
Cause there's nothing better than like just everybody watching each other suck.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of gets like
I
so
just
many
cringe
things.
Even thinking about it. And then after too, they did all these interviews and I want to go like, like when you have a bad set, you just want to leave.
Yeah.
You don't want to like, cause people just like walk by you and like, and like they, like you just feel like I'm like, oh my God, I just want to leave. And they're like, okay, let's do interviews now, where I had to like be like, yeah, I love stand up and this and that. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I shouldn't be here.
Did you end up making it to air?
No, I hope not. I never wanted to follow up on anything. I was like, get away. Just please.
Oh my gosh. And what has been some of the most interesting experience you've had just in the comedy scene period? Or even moving to LA?
Oh, most interesting? It's a tough question.
Yeah, interesting is kind of a loose-ended word. I'd say like one positive, one negative. That keeps things balanced.
It's so hard to find positive. I think that's like the biggest thing with doing stand-up because you always want to find the negative.
Right.
So like finding a positive, I'm like, what? Like,
exactly.
What is a positive? I don't know. I mean, living here, no, it has been really positive. Like we were talking about, like just being thrown in with these people. It's like, I don't know where I would be stand-up wise if you're surrounded by people that aren't as funny as here,
Yeah.
Like these people are just another level. I mean, every time I see like certain comics, I'm like, oh my God, Like, and the way, like how quickly people get so much better is insane to me.
Yeah. I mean, there's just an element of having to like, I think about that still all the time. The fact that like your hustle can't die because you'll just get not booked on shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, you just have to be you have to love this so much to do it. Like,
we're all delusional. We're all just, you have to have somewhat of a delusion to think that like, but I've just always done what I love to do. And I feel like that's all I can do because I couldn't do anything else. Yeah. I just can't.
If you had like an ideal direction that you want to take your stand-up career, do you have anywhere you would see it going?
I mean, obviously I'd love to do like Comedy Central, anything like that, any like late night. I was just watching all that stuff on JFL, like the Just for Laughs stuff. I'm like, oh my God, why have I not auditioned for this? That looks so fun. I didn't even know like how big that was.
Jay, I was just there for the first time this last year. You did? And it was so fun.
You did it?
It was the funnest festival.
Yeah. I just was watching like a whole thing on what's that, Amazon or something, and I was like, oh my God.
Yep. And you can, I'm creating a live show that I'm actually pitching to them. You can pitch live shows and stuff too.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, they have like
I feel like you do like a million things. You're like one of those people that's like very like, oh, I'm going to try this. Like, I'm not like that at all.
Oh my God.
Like stick to the one thing that you're kind of good at.
No, I have like, I keep it in like comedy as like the header, but I have a lot of columns under that.
Yeah.
Because like even my to-do list, I had to go down to my neighbor's and borrow a fucking Lorezapan yesterday because I have like 90 things on my to-do list before Saturday.
Oh my God.
And I had like they're all just due. And I'm just like,
yeah, you're one of those. Yeah. You're like a really hard worker.
Yeah, I am. But I mean, we all have to. It's just part of the game.
I guess. I used to tell a joke where everyone, you know, in LA is always like, man, just out here on that grind. Like when you ask them how they are. It's
like, what is that for you?
I'm good. Like what? Because that's everyone's response. I'm like, what does that mean?
No, like nobody knows what to, because you know, there's a few different reasons why I stopped hanging at certain clubs for different chunks of time, because I would keep running into the same people there and I'd keep having the same conversations over and over again, which would be like, hey, what are you up to? And you'd be like, oh, you know, just you say the grind or the usual just because you don't want to have the conversation with somebody. Right. And then the other person's like, yo, I'm doing this and this. And you're like, I just said the most basic thing just so you would not do list all what of you're doing.
Crazy shit.
Like take a hint from me and understand that like me.
But also like the fact that no one realizes like everybody has like a list of things that they do every day, but LA is the only people that like say that list and feel like, because we have to like, no, this is almost about to pop off and this is going to happen. And it's like, because we all want to be like, because we feel like shitty because it's like, I don't really have anything to show for like writing some jokes.
So so all you can say is the things that you're working on. That's why I don't say my lists. I'm just doing them. But like, it's kind of the same. Like for a while as a joke, this was while I lived in Chicago. This was when email started to be kind of cool and you were on like group emails for things. Right. So I was on an email with a bunch of people from Second City and I would never respond to the group emails. Just at random points in the week, I would just send them a list of everything I'd eaten that day. And I thought it was the funniest thing. And so, I mean, I'd rather hear what people ate today than like hear what they're working on.
Yeah, for sure. It's just so funny.
How did you end up meeting your future husband?
I met him on Bumble.
Stop.
I swear. Which is like so not
good for. See, these apps work.
I mean, it wasn't like I was like on them to be like, I'm going to find the man of my dreams. But to me, I'm so shocked that more people aren't on those apps. Like so many of my friends are like, oh, we don't like them. I'm like, what? Like,
yeah. Well, me and my fiance have talked about this before too. What are the actual odds that you're going to go to a bar and stand next to somebody?
Especially in LA, like nobody wants to be like, nobody really drives around like multiple places a night. Mm-hmm. So whatever spot you're at, you think that the person is in there for you. Like I'd rather have more chances. Yeah. You know,
you'd rather have an algorithm kind of connect you with somebody that could fall in the category of shit you deal with.
And it's so fun. Like you just staring at you just get to see all of it. It's like a reality show, which I love reality shows. They're trash, but I love them so much. But like you're just staring at all these people and what they put and what they say and like what you put. It's just all ridiculous, but it's fun.
Of course. It's like a resume.
Yeah.
It's like your personal resume.
But with like attractive people that you just get to be like, I'm too good for you. Like in your sweats and like eating pizza, like falling down your face. You're like, no.
I'm not going to take you.
A gross human being. And you're like, you're not good. Like, who are we?
I know.
It's so fun. I go on my friends sometimes. I'm like, let me help you, because they're like, we don't like to do it. Like,
I had never been on any of these apps because I'd been in a relationship for too long, and so I'd not like none of them were out when I was still single.
Yeah.
And like last summer I was down in San Diego visiting a friend, and same, one of her friends was like, I'm on Bumble, but I just don't like dealing with the setting up dates. And she's like, but I could really go for like some free dinners. And I was like, I will set you up with 8 dates by the end of today.
It's
and
so
I like
much fun.
Got so addicted, and I took over the thing for like the entire day and I set her up on like 12 dates.
And that, look, there's so many douchey guys, but then I was on my guys, like this one guy that I know, his thing, and I was like, oh my God, there's equally as many douchey girls.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't believe, I was just so shocked. I was like, oh, you're looking at the same shit that we are. Because I just thought, I was like, what is that? What is that?
Yep.
And I thought all girls were, I don't know. I was just very shocked by that.
Well, and they have the Bumble BFF thing too. Have you heard of that?
No. Oh, like a friend one or something? That's sad to me.
Well, and so
adults finding friends is creepy.
I know. And so but somebody had told me to like download it, and they were like, you'll get really good work connections. You can put like a working profile on there. So I had it for like a day, and I got so many messages from like women that were like, we need to get coffee. And I'm like, I don't ever want to get coffee with anyone ever in my life.
Yes.
Unless I actually already like you. I'm not going to fucking get coffee. I have to know if you're tolerable, if I can drink around you. And after one drink, I'll know if I like you or not. If I have a second drink around somebody, that's how you know I've approved of you.
Yeah.
But if I have like, I'm like, coffee? I'm not going to meet a stranger for coffee to be friends. Like,
I mean, I guess that would be like if you first moved here and you knew no one. But other than that, no thank you.
Yeah, I deleted it like immediately. Yeah. I was like, this is going to be very
surprised you
bad.
didn't get a bunch of dudes that are like, hey.
No dudes. It was just all women.
That's interesting.
And I appreciate that. Like, I love women, but you can't be friends with everybody, all right?
No, of course.
You can't.
You can act like you are, but you're not.
Yeah. No, and there's only certain people that are worth putting time and energy into, and that's just true.
That's so funny.
So now that we've covered all those bases, are you excited to get married?
I'm so excited.
Awesome.
I mean, our wedding planning has been insane. Like, I'm ready for that to be over. I never understood when girls were like, it's so hard. I'm like, it's one day. What are you doing? And now I'm like, oh my God. There's so many decisions.
I still haven't even planned anything for mine.
Yours is in June?
Yeah.
And you're not freaking out.
Well, I talked about this kind of on my last episode, but it's actually becoming a thing. So,
oh my God, I'm already stressed for you.
Me and Justin have pushed our wedding date twice now.
Okay.
Because we just haven't felt like it was the right time.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And we're busy, and we've been together this is our 8th year of being together. So it's like, and we've known each other for like 12 or 13 years. So we're like, at this point, we're
just over each other.
We just don't even care. Like, I just don't even care. I'm like, I don't even.
Actually, I don't really like you.
I've never wanted like a wedding. I've never dreamed of my wedding day. I'm just not that kind of gal.
I never did either.
Yeah.
And that's probably a problem. And that's why I was so like, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't even want to have a ceremony. I want to
But that's the worst, because then when you have to make the decisions, you don't know because you never thought about it.
I think it's all just kind of ridiculous. And all I want to do is like find a dude ranch and have my friends just like hang out on there for like a week or something, or a beach somewhere.
But I think the people that like, the more simple people want it, the more elaborate it gets.
Exactly.
Somehow it just like builds and builds and builds. Like, all my friends that wanted to do it simple, it just becomes not simple, because it's not a simple thing to do.
It's not,
because it's coordinating all of these people too to get,
and it's people you care about. So it's like throwing the biggest party with your favorite people and wanting them all to enjoy themselves.
Yeah, and we all know none of them will. Like, we all, I mean, I just know my family, they talk so much shit. Like, that's just what my family does.
Yeah.
Like, they won't say it to me because we're not like monsters, but they'll like behind, like, oh, what was that? chicken that we ate or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's like,
exactly.
Which is just like so annoying because you're like, oh my God, this is so much money to make people like just judge you more.
This is what I think we're going to, because I don't think we're ready still for, I know we're not ready still for June. And I don't want to keep pushing the venue. Like they'll allow me to keep changing dates as long as it's open. Oh, okay. Because it's a venue that's open to the public. Otherwise, it's a jazz club in Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh, neat.
And it's set up so perfect for like, there's like a stage where they actually have comedy. Like Nate Craig does his comedy show there every Christmas.
Oh, very cool.
So if we don't end up using it, I don't want to push the venue again. I just want to like be hands-free of it. Yeah. So I want to keep my contract and then just do shoot my comedy special there that day and talk about the fact that I'm not getting married.
Oh, I love that.
Right. And so I've already had a couple calls with producers.
Please be in a wedding dress.
I'm going to. Yeah. I'm going to do it all in wedding stuff.
I love that.
And I'm going to talk about relationships and weddings and like everything I went through.
Just like mascara smear down your face. Just talking like, that's so fun.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. So instead, just to take all the pressure off myself for planning a wedding,
I'll just plan my special.
I'm going to plan a special.
There's no pressure there.
But then I'll just own it, and I already paid for the space, so I'll sell tickets. I'm from Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh,
so
I love that.
Any listeners from the Madison, Chicago, Minneapolis area, hit me up on social media and let me know if you'd come to that. Because
I would come to that. That sounds so awesome.
It's in the fucking works, and it's probably 99% going to happen. So anyway, plug your social media, girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. For Instagram, I'm J Keenan Comedy. My website's jlkeenan.com.
What dates do you have coming up? Anything exciting?
Well, not yet because next week I'm going to my bachelorette party.
Yeah.
So I didn't plan anything.
Where is that?
It's in Miami.
Fun. Mm-hmm. The other trashy
Bringing
city.
out the sparkle bras. That's right. One trash to the next trash.
I haven't been to Miami, but I really want to go.
It's so fun.
I hear it's so fun.
I love it. I mean, I like that there's like culture there. It's just so, it's like Vegas, but with culture and a beach.
I love that. And you can find me, your host, Natasha Pearl Hansen, at NPH Comedy, not Neil Patrick Harris, but Natasha Pearl Hansen, NPH Comedy
Didn't even notice that.
Instagram and Twitter. And you can follow the podcast at Future Role Model on Instagram or at Role Model Pod on Twitter. You can follow Comedy Pop-Up Network at Comedy Pop-Up or at CPU Podcasts. And that's it. Any closing remarks?
Thanks for having me.